What is going on, everyone? Matthew7657 here. Today we are back with yet another figure unboxing and review. As the title and thumbnail suggests, is going to be the SH Monsterarts Spacegodzilla Decisive Battle version, or something along those lines. It's kind of like a definitive edition. So with that being said, nothing more to it than to get right on into it. And alas, here we have our box here. We're just going to get right in there. And yeah, so we'll see what it actually is named on the box here. I just remember it as like a decisive battle, maybe even a city battle. Like I said, it's pretty much kind of like their way of saying this is kind of like the ideal one to get if you haven't gotten anything, right? So very cool. Got a little card from the shop there. First time ordering from this shop. Just trying to give it a go. You know me, guys. I order from like almost every shop on the planet. This one comes from Xavier Collectibles, though. So, not sponsored in any way, but decided to give this one a shot. So, right, never can complain there. So you see the kind of just proto package box there. It's a Fukuoka Decisive Battle. I was missing the Fukuoka, but I was right. They love just putting Decisive Battle on a lot of these kind of new re-release figures. They did it with Shin Godzilla, or that's Night Combat version. They did it, okay, maybe I'm blanking, but they did it with a couple of them. I know that for sure. But anyways, here is the box here. Spacegodzilla Fukuoka Decisive Battle version. And look at that. There's a lot of dark purple themes going on in the box there. This is just the front side of the box. Godzilla vs. Spacegodzilla. And then here we are to the very side, a promo image of Spacegodzilla there, and some stock photos of the figure for advertisement. There you go, Spacegodzilla, and then on the bottom, kind of the same thing, more or less. So let us continue. There is no time to waste here. And recently, they have been putting instructions on the actual boxes for these Monsterarts figures. So usually they give you a piece of paper, but at least here, and I believe the last Monsterarts, the 73, I think they did the same thing. 72, sorry. So there's that. But here is the figure here. Very excited to get into this one. So let us keep going, right? So it looks like we have some accessories and the base figure. Is there any tape? It does not seem like there's any tape. It's just kind of like this. There was in fact tape. I guess I didn't see it. Or not. We had one of the little protective plastic pieces pop out, so nothing to be missed there. The accessories here, we have the blown off crystals, which we will get to. And then kind of like this, I don't want to say spiral, but they're kind of like electrified powers for the space crystals, the shoulder crystals. And here is the figure there, nicely protected. No fall-offs just yet. Hopefully none. But let us get into it here. So there is the figure out of the box, so straight up out of the box there. And the jaw is kind of a little out of position. But look at that. I mean, it looks pretty good, if I do say so myself. At least on the eyes, I would say mine look pretty good. I haven't seen anything on Twitter saying that their eyes were messed up, but who knows? We have the kind of crest here, which is like a little bit of more of a translucent plastic piece. Wow, okay. I don't know where to start. This one's actually kind of like, all right, like let's do it, right? So first off, let's just go through the articulation. As you can kind of see the paint throughout the video. Articulation-wise, we do have head sculpt here. That, obviously, it can open. It can open to about there. It can close. And then you do have this one neck piece here. And from there, it's pretty much the body. So you have those two pieces, the neck and the head piece. And then the body is really bulky. It's really just like this one piece here with some of the plating on the dorsal plates. Going to the arms are interesting because you can't really move them like up. Like you can't move the shoulder up because obviously the space crystals but you still do get a range of flexibility within the arms, such as that, an elbow joint, which can bring you closer, and then obviously a hand joint for however you might want to display it, right? So it looks like there is an abdomen piece right in here that kind of like, it's right in there. It seems to be like really small, actually. It's either a very small abdomen piece or it's a whole lower body piece. It's just sculpted to have depth in there. So going down towards the lower body area, we have our thighs here, which they don't really want to go any higher than this, I would say. Same for the back end. I'm trying to, like, I'm pushing it in, but it doesn't want to rotate out. Here we have our knee. Whoa. Okay. Here we have our knee joint here. I thought this was a ballpoint. I was like, what? But nope, there you go. They're kind of just loose, some of the little skin joint pieces. So this isn't really a joint. It's just kind of like a skin piece there compared to the knee joint right there. And then we do have a small like ankle joint right in here, and then a foot joint as well. And obviously you can do however you would like with that. Moving on towards the back end of the tail here, as you can see, they kind of like split. You can see the split right there in the spines, that little crevice. And so it comes here, and then this is all still that lower piece, but starting at this translucent white spine is where the tail actually begins. So it's kind of like your standard articulated tail for Godzilla molds. So it's not bad. The tail, I would say, is actually pretty good in length. It's not too short. It's a very nice length. What we'll do here is think about it. All right, let's just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that its own individual piece? I think so. 6, 7, 8. This one is kind of stiff. 8 maybe. Let's go 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. As you can see, I'm here now. I mean, if we want to count that, 14. This one, 15. There are seams there, but they're not really like coming out. 15, 16, 17, 18. Wait. Okay. So we were at 17. So I would just say 17, 18. And then there's not a like piece for the tail there. So very cool. Around 18 points of articulation for the tail. Although not all of them are individually articulated. Maybe I would say it's more like 14 or 15 pieces there. I was counting each individual like spliced tail piece, right? So yeah, that's it for articulation. In terms of detail, honestly, it's actually pretty good in my honest opinion. Like I said, the eyes look pretty good. The teeth, I would say kind of a little bit, not everywhere, but they're not bloody. They're not bloody gums. The teeth are white. And you do see a lot of the kind of like pink crystallization color. I believe I think it's when he's taking damage, if I'm correct. But yeah, I honestly really like it. The sculpt's pretty good. I really like the tail crystal piece here. Very cool. Just off of like my initial impression. But yes, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the base figure there. Pretty good, I would say, honestly, for what Monsterarts has put out. I think it's definitely actually really good. Sorry, I'm trying to like actually think here, but there is a little bit of translucency on the spines. As you can see, the light, it kind of like reflects past them and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. The coloration, I think, is when he is being damaged. There's like a brief seconds where the kind of like purplish color pops out everywhere. So I think that's what they were going for, which is really cool. At least for our instructions on the accessories, it looks like it's as simple as just putting things on top of one another. So first off, let's go ahead and just do the kind of like lightning-esque charge effect. And I really don't think there's like a certain way you can do this, or I don't think there's a certain way that makes it right from wrong. I really think it's just putting the charge effect on the figure just as is. Maybe we'll do like this so you can see a little bit more. So yeah, I mean, it looks nice. You get that charging effect. No Corona beam. A little surprised as to why they didn't. give us that, especially because they gave us the kind of charge effect for it. But it looks very nice nonetheless. You can have Spacegodzilla coming down like in the movie, charging. No like accessories in terms of like base diorama pieces, but we'll talk about how this is technically the third release. And then lastly, for our figure, it's as simple as just taking off the crystals. Just a little bit of tug, nothing too aggressive. But I guess if you want no crystals, it's just kind of like two little nubs there. And then from here, I'm not sure if, oh, okay. From here, there is a little L indication right there, indicating left. So I'm going to assume it means his left. Like this, maybe. Have I done it wrong? There is an indentation, because that one is supposed to be R, but it doesn't really look like an R. It's right there. Oh, sorry. It's right here. See that right there? It's supposed to be R. So let us... Ah, there we go. Just a little bit of turn, and it'll get everything going. Although this one is a little bit struggling. Huh. I don't know. Nope, there we go. I don't know why the left side for me was a little bit like that. I mean, you could do something like this, kind of like the energy just going everywhere and whatnot. But yeah, this is the kind of like broken version, or if you wanted to do something like this, you definitely could. You could have one broken and then one not broken. So yeah, this is pretty much the figure there. Honestly, I actually really do enjoy this release. I like the colorations, although I think a part of me would have liked a kind of like a back piece where it was just all the kind of white spines. But I think they were just kind of like, you know what, we're going to go ahead and do this version because I think the past two versions have had that or compared to this. But very cool, obviously, when the crystals do get destroyed. I know Mogera does blast one of them, and we are due for a Mogera reissue nonetheless. So let's go ahead and do our kind of like base mold of the figure here. There we go. We'll go ahead and put our accessories to the side for now, and we're going to go ahead and do some quick comparisons. So just get Spacegodzilla in a very nice kind of like posture here. I don't have too much to do comparisons with, I'll be honest. I don't have the exact suit mold from Godzilla vs. Spacegodzilla. The closest Heisei suit mold I have, and for Godzilla, is the Rebirth one, which would be technically the 95 or 94. So I don't have the actual original release or even the re-release they did a couple years after, but pretty good in scale, although this Godzilla probably does stand a little bit taller, but I'm making this Godzilla stand a little bit more tall. Besides that, we'll go ahead and do this Bandai 91. I know it's kind of like really obscure, but I don't believe they've made a Spacegodzilla mold yet. I do know they're making another Heisei mold, but I'm not too familiar which one it is. And last but not least, this is actually an older Spacegodzilla Bandai. Let's see. So it's 98. It's a 98 figure. I actually bought this a couple years ago, and the horn was actually broken. This little horn piece is actually me like modeling the clay. If we really like zoomed in on it, you can see all the little imperfections and whatnot. So I mean, I pretty much bought a broken one, but I refixed it. I kind of retooled it. I gave it a better paint job, just because I was like, man, this figure has definitely seen some better days. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and fix it up, just because I have the ability to, right? So this is kind of like a custom. I mean, not really. It's more of just like a repaint / remold, because the figure was in dire need of some help whenever I bought that. But realistically, that is pretty much the video here. I hope this video was good, at least in terms of kind of describing what the figure is like, helping you decide if you want this one. I think this is actually pretty good. Honestly, Monsterarts has been in a funny spot. I think they've had some pretty good releases recently, if I'm being 100% honest. Their last meh release to me was what? I would say the last ones were probably the 2021 Godzilla versus Kong. And even then, I mean, technically I'm only saying that because they're inaccurate, or at least the Godzilla is. But all the other ones that have come out, like I'm looking at Gigan, 72 Godzilla, -1 Godzilla, that one besides some of the paint, Gigan for Final Wars, Mechagodzilla and Rodan. Like all of those recent ones that we've been getting have actually been pretty good. And I know Monsterarts is like, oh, you know, it's kind of a laughing stock here and there, but I genuinely think this one's actually pretty good. Now, what I will keep harping, or what I will say is that these are pretty expensive. So I can definitely see why people have the price point against these Monsterarts figures. Although I will say this one's actually really good. If you're a fan of Spacegodzilla and you missed out on the past 2 releases like me, because I couldn't afford them back then, I would say this is definitely a very nice pickup. Definitive, decisive. I think that's kind of what they're going for, especially since how large the community has gotten over the years. But I wouldn't miss this one only because who knows when the next reprint of this figure would be. So if you're a fan of Spacegodzilla or just a Monsterarts fan in general, I think this is actually a pretty solid release. I think the only negative it probably has is just the price. I think it was around $130 if I'm correct. It was around there, or $150 was MSRP. So I mean, I don't know. It's up for you to decide. Personally, I know that Monsterarts has like been here and there, especially over the years, but I think they've been trying to get a better track record on their accuracy of the figures. So I can't blame them for that if I'm being honest, but I do admit that the price point definitely does turn people away. So, oh, look at that. Pretty cool pose, right? I will say it does turn people away. Obviously, no one's forcing you to buy these, and plus, Hiya Toys is now in the run. Whether or not they'll make a Spacegodzilla anytime soon, who knows? But I was like, I've been needing a Spacegodzilla because that was my only one, that Bandai. So I was like, it's time to bite the bullet and just do it right. So with that being said, guys, let me know what you guys think of the Fukuoka Decisive Battle SH Monsterarts Spacegodzilla. I think it's pretty good. Let me know if you disagree with me or agree with me. I'd love to see what you guys think of this figure. And with that, we will have more figures in the coming time. So bear with me, and I will see you guys within the next video. See ya.